Because we feel great.
Hey there,
Bruised, beaten up.
champs. Welcome to PRO Wrestle Insider, your WWE update station. Hit that bell and let's step into the ring. Seth Rollins once stood in the center of the ring and declared that brotherhood was unbreakable, that the Shield bond ran deeper than titles, brand rivalries, and personal ambitions. But on this week's Raw, all those promises collapsed in the most shocking moment of the year. Seth didn't just walk away from Roman Reigns. He walked away from the entire legacy they built together. The moment he turned his back, you could feel the air shift in the arena. This wasn't mind games. This wasn't strategy. This was a betrayal that cut straight to the heart of everything the Shield represented. And Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, absorbed that betrayal in real time, standing alone against an army of enemies as the man who once called himself a brother simply smiled and disappeared behind the curtain. The night Roman needed his brother. Roman Reigns has survived wars, invasions, and championship defenses that seemed impossible. But on Monday night, the odds were stacked in a way that even he could not overcome. Surrounded by Judgment Day, targeted by Solo Sikoa, attacked from every angle, Roman stood in a storm of violence with no allies in sight. Until Seth Rollins' music hit, the crowd erupted because everyone believed this was it, the reunion nobody thought would happen again. Roman lifted his head, and for a split second, real hope flashed across his face. 3 weeks earlier, Seth had looked him in the eye and promised that the Shield was forever. But instead of walking down the ramp to save his brother, Seth stood still, watched the chaos, smirked, and walked away. It wasn't a miscommunication. It wasn't confusion. It was deliberate abandonment. Seth Rollins' vision revealed for months. Seth Rollins has positioned himself as the architect of RAW, a visionary building, a future where he stands at the center. He talked about leading new talent, shaping the brand, elevating the next generation. But Monday night revealed the truth behind the speeches. Seth's vision is a world where loyalty is optional, where brotherhood is a bargaining chip, and where history is an accessory he uses only when convenient. Roman Reigns wasn't expecting perfection from him, but he was expecting honesty. Instead, Seth weaponized trust, nostalgia, and the deep-rooted bond of the Shield to advance his own agenda. And in doing so, he reminded the world why he has always been the most unpredictable member of their legendary trio. Roman Reigns knows who to call. Backstage sources say Roman Reigns was furious after Raw, but not in a chaotic, emotional way. He was calm, focused, calculating. And that silence spoke louder than any outburst. The next day, during an interview, Roman dropped 5 words that instantly exploded across the wrestling world. I know who to call. Those 5 words reopened a door wrestling fans never thought they'd see again. They weren't empty. They weren't symbolic. They were a warning. Because there is only one person Roman could call who understands loyalty the way the Shield once did. Only one man who never betrayed him, never mocked the brotherhood, and never dismissed its importance. The moment Roman said that line, the internet lit up. Old Shield videos resurfaced. Fans speculated non-stop, and one name dominated every conversation. Jon Moxley. The return that could change. WWE forever. Jon Moxley hasn't been in WWE since 2019, but he never disrespected Roman Reigns. Even when he criticized creative decisions or spoke openly about the issues that pushed him away, he kept his respect for Roman and Seth intact. To him, the Shield wasn't a gimmick. It was his foundation. It was real. He always said that if his brothers truly needed him, the bond would still matter. Now Roman needs him more than ever. Not just as backup, not just as muscle, but as the one man who understands what loyalty means. And that's the part that makes this moment so powerful. Seth made his choice. Roman made his move. And Moxley might be ready to walk through that curtain again. Moxley's evolution makes his return even bigger. Since leaving WWE, Jon Moxley has evolved into one of the most respected and dangerous performers in the world. He became a top star in AEW, traveled the globe, wrestled in Japan, and embraced a style that is raw, gritty, and completely his own. He proved he didn't need a system to succeed, but that journey didn't erase his loyalty. It strengthened it. If Moxley returns now, it won't be as the clean-shaven, tactical member of the Shield. It will be the battle-hardened warrior fans have watched tear down arenas across multiple promotions. A reunion between Roman Reigns and this version of Moxley would be unlike anything the WWE has seen before. It wouldn't be nostalgia. It would be war. The ending. The Shield never got. The Shield has broken apart, reunited, fractured again, and rebuilt itself in different forms. And every single time, it was Seth Rollins who struck first. In 2014, he shattered the group with a chair. Later, he walked away again. And now, years later, when Roman needed him most, Seth proved once more that betrayal is part of his DNA. That's what makes this story feel like destiny. Roman and Moxley never truly got closure. They never got to stand across from Seth as the two brothers he betrayed most. Bringing them together now gives the Shield saga the ending it was always meant to have, not in a reunion, but in a reckoning. Why the timing is perfect. This is not happening in a vacuum. Roman's reign, Seth's rise, Moxley's evolution. They all converged at the right moment. Triple H now leads creative, giving talent more freedom than ever. Reports say he respects Moxley deeply and is personally involved in conversations. The environment Moxley once left no longer exists. WWE is thriving. The story is strong, the demand is massive, and creatively, this might be the biggest angle the company has had in years. The timing doesn't just make sense, it feels inevitable. The impact on Raw and Seth's future. Seth Rollins has been shaping Raw around his faction, his vision, and his authority. But if Roman Reigns brings Jon Moxley to Raw, everything Seth built crumbles instantly. Roman alone is unstoppable. Moxley alone is unpredictable. Together, they are chaos personified. Seth's faction would fall piece by piece. His allies would second-guess him. His influence would collapse. And eventually, he would be forced to stand alone, face to face with the two men he hurt the most. That moment will define Seth's legacy forever. The WrestleMania-level showdown. This story naturally builds toward the biggest stage possible. A confrontation fueled by history, trust, betrayal, and years of unresolved tension. Fans aren't imagining things. This is WrestleMania main event material. A collision between Seth Rollins' vision and the combined force of Roman Reigns and Jon Moxley is the kind of story that changes careers and defines eras. WWE knows how valuable that is, and they will not waste it. The question isn't if, it's when. At this point, speculation isn't about possibility, it's about timing. Will Moxley return on Raw? Will he appear at Royal Rumble? Will it be a surprise moment that sends the arena into chaos? WWE is creating anticipation deliberately, and fans can feel the momentum building. Seth may think he gained control by walking away from Roman, but all he did was awaken something far bigger than himself. The Shield story isn't over. Roman Reigns is not the type to forget betrayal, but he also understands loyalty better than anyone else in the business. Seth made his decision, Roman made his promise, and now the wrestling world waits. Because Roman Reigns and Jon Moxley together aren't just a team, they're a statement, a warning, a reminder that the Shield was never just a faction, it was a brotherhood. And when you break that bond, you don't escape the consequences. You face them.